artists, legendary singers, and information you need on The Legends. WNBP Newburyport.
This is Wes Pettengill, your host, talking about our favorite hot rods, classics, customs, and more right here on WNBP. You can also pick us up on WNBP.com, live streaming, and on 106.1 FM. Well, we were down to Skip's this past Saturday for a spectacular night, over 300 cars. You couldn't ask for a better weather night, and it was kind of the end of a long weekend for the El Camino Club. They were in the area for sort of a northeast tour, which ended up at Skip's Cruise Night. We gave them a complete line of cars, over 20 cars at Skip's, but that was sort of just the end of what was a really fun-filled weekend for them. And we have the interview now with John Harris at Skip's Cruise Night. Well, folks, we're here this afternoon with John Harris of the El Camino Club. And John, give us the official title of your local club here, if you would.
We go by the name of the National El Camino Owners Association, and the group that's here tonight is from our Region 2 for New England members only.
Well, I was with you last night, and this is a whole weekend affair. Tell the folks where the El Caminos were last night, and great turnout, by the way.
We had our 5th visit to Lee USA Speedway up in New Hampshire. We had 33 El Caminos on the track doing parade laps, and we had a burnout contest. Our burnout contest winner is right here in the dark blue El Camino. He's got 2 trophies there that he's won last year, and this, plus the tire that he blew out during his final burnout demonstration.
I heard the crowd, and they were waiting for that blowout. And by the way, John looks so conservative up here. Believe me, these guys were really trekking it last night at Lee USA Speedway on the 3rd Mile Oval. And this morning, where did you start your tour this morning?
We had a nice tour at Paul Russell and Company down in Essex. They're the folks that restore Mercedes and other European sports cars. They also had a display of their finished work at the Boston Museum of Fine Arts about 7 or 8 years ago. They had several of the cars that won the Concours d'Elegance out in Pebble Beach and some other award winners. It was the biggest attended show at the Museum of Fine Arts in that decade. For the first time, they really had automobiles, rolling automobiles, as a work of art, and it was incredible, the work that they did, and they showed us up front and close how they do their beautiful handwork.
Well, you know, Paul Russell is also a judge out to Pebble Beach, too, and last year one of his cars took Best of Show, and we happened to see a group of us went down last year and saw the car in progress, and he said it's headed to Pebble Beach, and sure enough, Best of Show. And then we understand you did a little Seacoast tour after that.
Right. Our group is mostly daily driver type cars. We don't pamper them. We don't garage them too often. We want to use them the way they were intended. So we had our 2nd annual New England Coastal Cruise. Last year we went from Newburyport up through Seabrook, Rye, and up to Northampton and stopped for photos along the route. This year we did a little bit longer. We went down through Gloucester, the Good Harbor area, out to Rocky Neck, the artist colony, and then we finished up through downtown Rockport and Market Square in Newburyport before coming here. About 2.5 hours on the road with the cars, and we only had one breakdown that couldn't be repaired on the spot.
Well, Skips is hoping you came here hungry, by the way.
We came hungry, and we tell our members to spend money at these places that host us so welcome and so affordable.
Well, you know, when we talk about online and the El Camino Association, it's remarkable the numbers that you've tallied up online for members. If you could tell the folks a little bit about your membership online.
Okay. Well, basically we're called it's El Camino Central is our website. That was designed separately about 12 years ago by a fellow down in Texas, and the National El Camino Owners Association was started the same time in Tennessee by a different gentleman. We wound up having the same membership all across the country, and we voted to merge in 2003, and we became known as the El Camino Central, the online home of the National El Camino Owners Association. We have 23,000 registered members across the country and chapters in Australia and in the Netherlands. And here in New England, we probably have 275 people that actively participate on the website, sharing photos of their cars, trading parts, and swapping know-how and answering questions and giving advice.
And we understand online to sign up is free, actually.
It's a free website, and it's loaded with great information. We tell our members, don't spend any money or get a repair until you post your question and find out from people who have done it before. You can post a question at 3 o'clock, and by 3:30, you'll have 4 or 5 intelligent responses. And at any time of the day or night, there's generally 200 to 225 people participating on the website in some location of the world.
And John, we understand this whole front row is yours. And do we know our earliest El Camino? I see a 67 out there. Is that your earliest one on the field?
We had I think a 66 earlier this morning. He took it home and brought his Mustang up for the rest of the afternoon. We don't have too many first and second generation El Caminos. We did have 3 of the second generation. The 59 and the 60 are very hard to come across in New England, as you know, for the rust problems.
Well, John, we want to thank you so much for joining us here at Skips, and wishing you a great afternoon. And boy, did you get the weather for this weekend.
Absolutely. It was the last minute. We rode into Lee, and there were dark clouds in the sky, and they just blew right away, and we had a fun night. Thanks.
That was John Harris with the El Camino Club, and
Group 1 in Merrimack for the Group Night at Skips, which is on tomorrow night. The El Camino Club heads up down there with Wes Pettengill and all of the crew from the
night is Pete Falcone behind the glass. And Pete, you were announcing up to Lee USA Speedway this past Friday and actually introduced each and every one of the El Caminos. I got to say, that was pretty much a full lap of cars out there.
It was exciting to see because it was all El Caminos, all 30 plus of them that were around the Speedway at the same time, and so many different colors. And as we heard John say, some are, most are driven daily. They came from all walks of life. And then some of them participated in a burnout contest, which was pretty interesting. There's some pretty heavy power under the hoods of some of those. And in fact, you talked about the guy that continued the burnout until he could blow a tire, and he did.
And he got the crowd excited, that's for sure.
So, but you know, it's an unusual vehicle because you look at an El Camino and you say, is it a car or is it a truck? You know, the back of it is like a pickup truck, and the front of it is like a car. And I even mentioned on the mic Friday night that I remember that from childhood days and having arguments with friends of mine, you know, just a kid back in the 60s, the late 60s when they were around going, it's a truck. No, it's a car. No, it's a truck, you know. So.
Well, as we mentioned on the show before, on another show that we did, the El Camino was based on a 4-door sedan or a station wagon wheelbase. It was a longer wheelbase than, let's say, a Chevelle coupe. But it used the nose of either Monte Carlo or a Chevelle or even an Impala in the early years, and it created a floor pan of its own and became a pickup truck. As John mentioned, some of the earlier ones were not there. They came out in '59 and went along to 1960. They actually had a break and came out again with the El Camino based on a Chevelle body in '64, and then continued right on until the late '80s. But by the way, Pete, these guys are, you know, the car is quite conservative. The car/truck is quite conservative, but I can't say that they were on the track.
No, they were they really whooping it up out there, and some of them had some pretty big big horsepower under the hood. I was also interested to learn that though those came out of the Chevrolet label, there were some GMC versions, right?
There were some GMC labels, and it pretty much was badging. They used the same block and so forth, but I believe it was Caballero was one of the things that they used. And yes, you could get them from a GMC truck dealer, but they shared a lot of the same upholstery and so forth, and they would put some different badging on and a different grill, but basically they were the same car. Obviously didn't have the popularity of Chevrolet, but you could get one at a GMC truck dealer.
Then what was Ford's answer to that?
Well, that was the Ranchero, which came out in 1957. Actually, Chevrolet answered Ford. Ford was the first one out in 57, and it wasn't until 59 that Chevrolet sort of answered that. But we'll call it a town and country pickup because you could take it into town on a Saturday night, and you would have a presentable car that would be worthy of a downtown image, and you could use it in the country on weekdays as a farm truck.
Yep, very versatile. Throwing groceries in the back or throwing hay bales in the back.
You got it.
Right.